Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name's Mel and I've called my channel the Patchy Pony Stitcher, and I like horses, so I wanted to incorporate something with my love of horses for my refound love of stitching. I began stitching as a teenager and then I did quite a few pieces, and once I became pregnant I did a big Joan Elliott piece. And then once my new bubba was born, I put the stitching away and took up scrapbooking, which I became heavily obsessed with easily. And that obsession lasted for about 14 years, and my boys are now teenagers and aren't quite so happy to be in front of the camera. So therefore I don't have as many photos, and I've also just lost interest after scrapbooking for such a long time. So I thought, well, time to get back into the world of cross stitch. So being that I liked horses, I went on the internet and Googled some patterns. I really wasn't sure what was out there anymore. Came across a free pattern, downloaded it, got my gear downloaded it, got all my stash from an online store, and off I went. And thought I was going fine, loving getting back into cross stitch, and then I found Facebook community groups online that were just dedicated to cross stitching. Well, was I in for a surprise. Back when I used to cross stitch, way back when, there was no community support. You just did your cross stitch at home, and on your way you went, and that was it. Whereas now with these Facebook groups, it's amazing. It makes you want to do more and more and share your work, and I love looking at other people's work. So I joined a few communities on Facebook, and then I heard the word floss tube. Never heard of it before, was never really into YouTube, didn't know really anything about it other than my boys used to watch other kids play games on YouTube, which I thought was ridiculous. So once I realised what YouTube was, I then started subscribing to a few channels. I set up my own page so I could comment on other people's things, and it's even more obsessive. I cannot get enough of the cross-stitching world at the moment. I am just so obsessed. But in saying that, I don't feel like I'm on my own. So in saying that, I don't feel like I'm on my own with cross stitch like I did when I was doing it years ago. I've asked questions to other people, and I know it's not amazingly, but I actually felt so chuffed when these people answered my questions. I spoke to Tash from the Star Cross Stitcher about a different pattern, and she answered straight away, and Mitch Stitch, Victoria from Creative Crafts, Michelle Bendy Stitchy, and Teresa Craig. So when these people answered me, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is great. I loved it. And I thought, well, I like doing this. This is fun. And I'm totally obsessed with YouTube and cross stitching. So I thought I'd dip my toe in the pond and see how we go. It's a little bit daunting talking to yourself at home, but we'll see how it goes. Nothing lost. So getting back to, I did a little bit of I didn't do a little bit, I used to do a fair bit of cross stitching, but they were only little patterns that I used to do as a teenager. So my last piece that I did, I don't have a lot to show because I sort of got rid of it after about 16 years of not doing it. So in the pieces either I gave away or they found the Vinnie bin. But there was one piece that I did keep. This piece was the piece that I did while I was pregnant. So it was a bit of a favourite. So this is my FFO. Still learning the terminology. So this is my only finished framed piece that I have, but in saying that, it is 16 years old. So this is a Joan Elliott design that I did when I was pregnant, and I did cut it short because I wanted to get it on the wall before baby arrived. This piece was meant to have 7 bears hanging on a line, but I actually cut it down to 5 because it was getting too close to my due date and I wanted the nursery complete, as you do. So this is my finished piece. I can't even remember what the name of the chart was. That's how long ago it was, and I don't even have the chart anymore. So this is, sorry about the glare. So this is my only finished piece that I've got to show that is a long time done. So when I decided to get back into the world of cross stitch, I didn't really think about the sizing that I would do. I just wanted something that was horsey. So as I said, I went online and I looked for free patterns, because back when I was cross stitching, you had to go to the shop and buy a full-on book. And in Tassie, we don't have a lot of cross stitching options or shops. It's mainly online. So because I wasn't really sure if I was going to get back into it in a big way, I just thought, oh, I'll just download something and see how we go. So I downloaded this pattern called Horses at Sunset. And I really didn't take much notice of the size of the pattern. I was just like, yeah, I like that. That's pretty cool. I could work with that. And it is 178 stitches by 107 stitches. So it's quite big for a return to stitching stitcher. So on my merry way I went. I didn't know anything about parking. So I watched a few YouTube videos and oh my God, I love parking now with these full coverage pieces. It just makes the world so much easier, because as you can see, there's lots of confetti in this type of piece because there's so many different colors. So I'm going to insert a little video of my whip of this one where I am now. Because it's on a frame, I can't hold it up to you and I don't want to move the camera. So I'll just insert that now. So as you can see, I'm really nearly finished. I started that in February, and for a well, for February, March, April, I really only worked on that one on its own. I did not start another piece. Didn't even dream of starting another piece. However, once I started watching YouTube, I realized that I wanted to have more than one piece on the go. So I then began smaller pieces that I could travel with, take to the kids' football, and also just to have a break from such a large piece. So I do have two little whips that I'm working on at the moment. Now one is a Lizzie Kate chart called Tea Crazy. So this one is just what I take to the kids' football. So I'm sitting in the car, or I'm at the doctor's surgery. So I haven't done a great deal of this one as yet, because it is one that I just travel with. So it's more just opportunistic stitching time. And this is on tea-dyed 14 count Aida. So I am going to change it up a little bit. I am going to be doing the 3 teacups, and then I'm going to put the larger teapot on top of the teacups and frame it. I'm not going to have any text in it. I'm not one to have quotes and titles on my work previously. It may change because I'm getting all new and back into this, but I thought I'd start off with the 3 cups of tea plus the teapot, and I did my first tea dyeing bit of Aida with the assistance of Priscilla and Chelsea, which was interesting. I'd never tea dyed before. Back then it was white Aida and that's all. And confession now, I've only ever worked on Aida. This linen weave, Lugana, it all is foreign to me, so I haven't yet had an opportunity to try any of these types of fabrics. So I really feel like I'm a beginner. Yes, I have done some pieces in the past, but essentially in this day and age, it's all very new to me. So dyeing the fabric was a lot of fun. With the my whip of the horses that I showed you earlier, I now wish I'd tea dyed that, because it's such a bright, stark white fabric and it's on a 14 count. You can actually see a little bit of the white fabric through the stitching. Which is a little bit disappointing, but I'm so far through it and you learn as you go. So I guess it's going to be a beginner's piece, but for me it'll be special because it's been a piece that I've sort of retaught myself and fallen back in love with cross stitch. So it's not something that I wouldn't finish because I can see the white through it. However, I don't think I'd do something on white Aida again, because I really like the tea-dyed sort of look and feel. It feels a bit more homely and a little bit more rustic. So first going at tea dye, loved it. Can't wait to do some more. Now my other whip that I have at the moment, it is one that I'm going to change. So the pattern that I'm going to show you is called the Queen Bee by the Cross Stitch Studio. And I bought this pattern off Etsy. Again, beginner's mistake, I did not look at how big this pattern was going to be. So this is the pattern that I purchased. And I thought, oh, isn't that sweet? I really wanted a queen bee, because we've got, we live on a bit of a hobby farm and we've got a few hives, and my hubby's the bee person. But of course, I've got 2 sons as well, so mama's queen bee. So I'm doing the queen bee for myself. And what I was going to do is, I was only going to do the bee and then get another little chart for a crown, like a dainty crown, and put it above. So rather than having the text queen bee above it, I was just going to have the crown. So once I realized how big it was, I was like, oh my gosh, if I'd actually done this, it was going to be like 40 inches by 40 inches. It was massive and full coverage. So a lot of it was quite a boring stitch with all that background behind it. So this is where I am at the moment. So I've only just started with the bee bottom. And this is one that I also travel with. So if I'm going somewhere, I'll take this one with me opposed to the smaller one. The teacups is the one I take with me in the car. But if I'm going somewhere for like a weekend away, I'll take this one because it's already on a frame with the grime guards, and it's easy to carry around. So that one I'm going to, that's not one that I'm working on a lot. It's just, again, an opportunistic one. So when I get time to and I'm away, I'll take it with me, and it'll be a slow progress, that one. Because I do have other things lined up as soon as the horse one is finished. So when I'm at home stitching, I generally will work on one cross stitch on its own. I do like to get things finished. I don't think I'm going to be a person that can have 15 whips. That would, I just couldn't. It'd stress me out too much. So even having 3 and the thought of beginning another 2 projects soon, really starts to make me go, oh, I've got to get my horse one finished. But I know there's no rush. It can take, it can sit there in the frame, but I do like to see things finished and on the wall. So the new patterns that I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be joining into sales, which I'm really excited about, because I've been watching some of the sales online, the Lakeside ones, and a couple of other ones on FaceTube, on FlossTube, where people are all doing these stitches together, like the Mustang Sally one that a few guys have been doing. So I really wanted to jump on the bandwagon and do a sale. So initially I've joined up to do the Caterpillar Cross Stitch Adventure Awaits sale. If I can, this is, as I said, I'm new to all this, so I will try and put all my links below once I learn how to do that. So with the Caterpillar Cross Stitch, there's in 6 parts of the Adventure Awaits, and it's going to be a map of the world with little motifs of different things for different countries. So I think we do a little bit of travelling, so it'd be nice to have something a cross stitch along with our souvenirs that we take when we travel. Now the pattern, the chart calls for white Aida. Again, not a favourite of white Aida after my experience with the horses. So I have picked up 2 different coloured 16 count Aidas. I've got a green and I've got a blue. I haven't worked on coloured Aida before, so I'm looking forward to working on coloured. Still can't decide on the colour, whether the blue, depending on how much blue is, because it's a surprise sale, so we don't know what the pattern looks like. So I don't know how much blue is in there, and I don't know how much green is in there. So I've got these both set ready, and I'll have to make a decision when the first pattern is released, which is on the 22nd of June. So I'm really excited, because today's the 18th of I think it's the 18th of June. Today's the 18th of June and it'll be released on the 22nd. So I cannot wait. I really am looking forward to starting something with a whole heap of other people and sharing the progress. So in saying that, I am going to do 2 sales at once. So essentially I might have, well, hopefully the horse one will be finished by the time I do begin the second sale, because that one is not until October. And this is a big sale. I'm thinking the caterpillar one might be a quick stitch because it's really just motifs of different things around the world. I don't know how much background or how much borders are going to be involved. So I'm hoping it's not too in depth, but also if it is, it is, and we'll go through it. This one that I want to do in October is the Hawk Run Hollow sale with a few of the ladies from the United States. I hadn't heard of Hawk Run Hollow before. I hadn't heard of a lot of designers before because, as I said, when I stitched before, I got a book and I think I stitched like 4 or 5 designs out of the one book. So all these designers love Etsy and just perusing all these great designers, and my list is growing of the things I want to stitch. I don't think I'm actually ever going to stitch everything I want to stitch. So priorities. So the Hawk Run Hollow, the sale calls for a Hawk Run Hollow design from the Carriage House Sampling. So I had a look through all of them, and the one that spoke to me the most was the Farms of Hawk Run Hollow. So this is the chart, this is the design, and this is the one that I've chosen to do for the sale. And that is because, as I said, we live on a hobby farm. So things like sheep and cows, horses and chooks, bees appeal to me, and it also goes with our decor at home. But I did think I might change some of the text in here because, as I said, I don't normally do text. And this has got a fair bit of text in it. So I thought I might personalise the text to what happens here on our little farm. So I would replace the Hawk Run farm with our own farm name. And so in Australia, we don't call a barn, it's called a shed. So they've got one on here called Monday Barn Raising. So I might change that to be a little bit more Australian as to what we would call it. And they also had Grammy Jane's Apple Butter. Well, I might change that to my name, and I might change it to like strawberry jams, because we do a lot of jams in Australia, not so much butters. So this one here, if I can get it up close, Grammy Jane's Apple Butter. I might switch that around to something a little bit more Australian. And in this one here too, I might change. It's called Saturday Dance. In Australia, back in the day, we used to have things called a bush dance or a barn dance. So I might just change that up a little bit too, so it's a little bit more relative to my life, I guess. But I am so looking forward to doing this sale. It's really exciting. I am just loving this whole community of Flosstube, and I feel like, you know, you're actually talking and communicating with like-minded people. In my family, I don't have anyone that cross stitches. I don't have any friends that cross stitch. So I can't really talk about it and get excited about it with my friends and family because they just don't get it. And they're like, oh, aren't you a bit young for that? I'm like, they just, as I said, they don't get it. They think I'm a bit of a nana cross stitching at my age, and you know, oh, I can't wait to get home from work and sit down and do some cross stitch, because I am a bit obsessive about it. I like to stitch every night if I can. So having Flosstube and the Facebook communities really is just another world of people that, like, even though we've never met people face to face, it's just so nice seeing these regular names pop up. And you know, if you ask someone a question or send a message, you'll get a response. And I've seen a lot of people, or heard a lot of people comment on Flosstube saying stitchy people are the best people. It's so true. It is just so true. So I am just loving where I am at the moment with my cross stitch and my new, and getting back into it. At the moment, haul, I'm still sort of trying not to spend too much, because it is a little, so my Hook Run Hollow, I guess you could count that as my haul for this like week, because I've still got a couple of packages I'm waiting for in the mail, some fabric from some Unstash or Destash page on Facebook. I've ordered some more floss and things to get ready for the caterpillar stitch, which should arrive. So hopefully with my next video, if I'm successful with uploading this and seeing how it goes, I'm really hoping that I can do a second video and I'll have some haul then to be able to show you. Now for the Aussie girls on Flosstube, where do I get project bags from? I don't want to have to pay to get them shipped from America, because shipping is ridiculously expensive for items of that size. So Aussie floss tubers, if you know where I can purchase project bags from Australian sewers, please can you let me know, because I'm desperate. I'm working with plastic bags. I have to put the stuff, or shoe boxes. And the husband's getting sick of seeing all these shoe boxes around the house with all my little projects in them, because I just can't seem to source any project bags. At the moment, one of my project bags is a laptop case, like a laptop cover with a zip, which works fine when it's a little 8x8 Q-snap in it. But I don't want to have to be moving stuff in and out of that every time I want to take a different project with me. So if you know where I can get some bags from, please let me know, because I desperately want some and I cannot sew. This girl does not sew in a straight line. So I do, yeah, things that can line up, like scrapbooking and cross stitching and things where we've got grids, not a problem. Sewing, and I just don't have the patience for it either. So okay, so we'll see how we go uploading all this. I'm hoping to make a video maybe once every fortnight, because I'm new at this. I really don't know what to expect. So I'm really sort of nervous about uploading something onto the internet for everyone to see, because my friends and family, they don't get it. So please, if this is your first time watching my channel, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, a comment would be great, just to show that someone's seen it. Yeah, it'd be nice to sort of get out there and into the floss tube world, because I really want it. I love it, it's great. And hearing of everyone going on these retreats, it's like, oh my God, that just sounds amazing. I just want to dive right in, but I know it's slowly. I've got to get my confidence with my stitching and also other things like different fabrics and all these different threads. Like, I'd never heard of half of these ones. I cannot wait to try a variegated thread. Haven't had a project yet that calls for it or that would really suit it. So I've got my eye on a few different pat charts at the moment. I really am. I've actually got Alice from Audrey TM coming in the post as well, which I'm really excited about. Thank you, Mitch Stitch, for showing yours on your channel, because I loved that pattern. That was so beautiful. So hopefully I might be able to use some variegated threads with that particular chart, because it looks as though it could possibly work. So, well, so that's me signing off. Please again, subscribe, like, thumbs up, and hopefully we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Thanks, bye.